Hello, everyone. This is Jeff Swick with Unkefer and Associates here in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona. Really appreciate you taking time out of your morning, afternoon, well, noon on the East Coast right now, to watch this presentation. We started doing some work with Annuity GQ probably about 3 months ago. I'm going to say give or take. We got the opportunity to be able to introduce it to our advisors, and we have got some good momentum going on. We've got some agents that have already signed up. They've done some webinars, had some very good success. You know, and one of the things that I do here at Unkefer and Associates, I'm heavily involved in the marketing part of our company and trying to find different products and different marketing campaigns to help you guys grow your business, to get you in front of more valuable clients. And right now I can tell you this is working the best. And these guys know what they're doing. They've got this system down. We're super excited to be partnered with them, really excited that they are taking some time out of their schedule to be able to do this webinar for you guys today. You're going to see a tremendous amount of value in this when we're done in the next 45 minutes to an hour. So again, really fired up to get going and have Glen Daman present this presentation to you. We also have Dave Alsop from Annuity GQ on the presentation. So with that, Glen, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you get going.
Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate it. Good morning, good afternoon, good day, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'll make this quick and painless, and we'll get to the point, try to answer everybody's questions. You can choose a couple of ways to ask questions. Dave is with me. Dave's actually now our Director of U.S. Operations for Annuity GQ, and I'm the COO of the company. So we'll answer all the questions, and if you want to use chat, that's fine. Dave can answer that back on chat for us, and or if you want to wait, I will leave, you know, whatever we need, 5 or 10 minutes at the end, and answer any questions that I can. Of course, Jeff, I'm sure will take your calls as well after the webinar, as I will. So moving forward, let's just get right after it. We'll talk a little bit about the program itself. It's a seminar program, as Jeff said. It can be conducted virtually or in a live setting. Now, of course, the live setting piece of that, I have to put an asterisk on. That's going to be dependent on and because of the pandemic rules and regulations at this point. So, yes, Jeff. Oh, you're muted, Jeff.
Yeah, so real quick, would just like to ask everybody as you're jumping on to make sure that you mute yourselves on this, else we're going to have a tremendous amount of, we're going to be able to hear a lot. So if you can just make sure that when you jump on, just go to the bottom to the left and mute yourself, that'd be great, so we can hear Glen and Dave without any hesitation. So
great. Thank you. Thanks for that, Jeff. So yeah, it's a lead generation program, and it's like no other, in my opinion. I've seen a lot of the other ones out there, and it's pretty exciting. Now, this is an exclusive program. Very important that we understand this. You must be contracted with Unkefer and Jeff and his team in order to take advantage of it, right? So the program will work this way. You will contact a marketer from Unkefer, and they will contract you if you aren't already. And then they reach out to us, and one of our team will connect you after that, and we go through the program, okay? So it's an appointment setting service. As we said, we data mine prospects. We target through Facebook, through Google AdWords, through email, text marketing. We use our system, our background. Our parent company is called Gustin Quan. And Gustin Quan started about 10, 11 years ago as a digital marketing company. So the background for us is we have the tools and the technology as well as the expertise on our staff. We have about a team of 15 to 20 that we call our back-end team. And our head office is headquartered in Winnipeg. Our global head office is Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. And if you walked into our floor there, we got about 2,000 square feet. It looks like NASA. These guys and gals back there, they're watching everything with AI. They fingerprint target people. They watch the behaviors online. We do a lot of things there that or way over my head, by the way, that we have the ability to target high net worth prospects that, you know, it says here more than 1 million in investable assets. That's true. What I always tell people is the higher the net worth, the smaller you're going to bring in terms of crowds. So if you're an advisor out there that said, hey, Glenn, you know what, I'm Series 65, using as an example, you know what, I'm happy to speak to people with 300,000 and up. Well, that just makes it a bigger crowd for us then. So we can target pretty much anybody you want, and our team will explain that to you in detail. The live webinars we're running now, our analytics tell us we have the best show up ratio, the best attendance on Saturdays. So typically we'll run it at 10:30 in the morning in your time zone, and that will give us the best results. Now we watch that. We watch it. Our back end team watches it. We may at any given time come back to you and say, you know, hey, Bob, or hey, Betty, you know what, we're seeing Wednesday nights or Thursday nights or Tuesday nights from, you know, 6:30 to 7:30 is the best time. So we'll counsel you, give our advice on that. Ultimately, you know your area better than we do in some cases. If you've got that local knowledge, you can always give us that, and we'll come to a time together. But typically it is Saturday mornings. Okay. Our top producers are running monthly and bi-monthly webinars, depending on the size of your market. Obviously, a smaller market may only be doing it once a month. Okay. Possibly twice a month in a big market is what we'll be doing for some advisors. Some advisors run 5 a year, depending on, again, market size and budgets and things like that. So you do it all from the office, the webinars, obviously, or your home office, whatever, or you can meet in person or on Zoom when you do the consults. We're seeing anything from $5 to $10 million in new assets every month that advisors are doing with us, writing $2 to $5 million in AUMs and FIAs per month. Numbers all over the map. I've seen well north of that as well. But, you know, we don't want to make any promises, but we've seen some pretty incredible numbers. We've got protected territories. They're filling fast. Dave and his team have a map that will tell us what you can't sell right now. I just noticed this morning, Dave, I don't know if you've noticed yet. For example, Utah is sold out. So if you're on from Salt Lake City, you can go into like Packers season tickets in Green Bay. You can get in the queue and wait. And when somebody drops off, then you'll get a call. So we do have waiting lines for that, and you can get in the queue. It says 3 states are on the waiting list. That's now 4 states. And we'll answer all those questions as you do it. I always say, you know what, listen, decide you're going to do it. And then if you find out that it's on waiting, because that changes day to day, we'll let you know right away. And we'll simply let you know when it opens up. We can usually tell you, like Salt Lake City should open up again in about 4 months. That's about the waiting list. Okay. Features. We are a turnkey solution. And what we mean by that is we literally take you from hello to goodbye, everything from the IT, from the scripting, best practice. We do role playing with you so that you feel comfortable. We provide the presentation deck that's compliant for you. You may have to get it past a basic compliance, but literally we've had no issues with compliance. You know, sometimes your compliance might say to you, well, we don't like you using this word. We want to change it to that word. We're very nimble. We do everything in-house. So it's not like it's a problem. I always joke, our kitchen's right here. So if you don't like a certain sauce, we can send it back to the kitchen and bring it right back out to you nice and warm. So pre-training is done during the onboarding process. We book you. If you sign up today, your webinar will run 4 weeks from today. It takes about 4 weeks. And I got to say this, I always have fun with this one, Jeff. If anybody likes the show Deadliest Catch, I hope you're out there. I love it. The crab fishing on the Bering Sea. The longer the pot's in the water, the more soak we get on it, the more crab comes up, right? And we got to sip through that crab and make sure you buy keepers and we fill your tank, right? And that's kind of how it works. It's 4 weeks. We give you a dedicated account manager. They're like a concierge. Literally, just call your account manager for everything. We will find your answer. It's not like we're going to give you a different number to call or make sure you call this guy or that guy. We take care of it for you. Okay. We give you the presentation, we give you the script, we train you, we practice run it. And here's a really cool part too. For those of you on the call that have already done this with us, you'll know when you're running your webinar, you're training whoever we assign as your training personnel. They're there with you. They might have 4 webinars running at once. Each one of our training officers, they'll have one. They'll have 4 running, but they'll pounce in and out of each of the webinars, and they're there at a click of a button. You don't have to call a 1-800 number if you've got a technical issue or the slide deck doesn't move or whatever the reason is. So you're never alone with us. Now, easy booking system. So what happens is when you're on the webinar, we get this question all the time. Hey, Glenn, when I'm on the webinar, how do people book my calendar? We use Calendly link, and what happens is it's right there on your webinar, and all the client has to do is click on it. Your calendar comes up and they book right away, which is really, really, really awesome. You're going to find if you're speaking to 30 people as an example, and you do a good job on your presentation, we're seeing 5 to 6 appointments booked while you're on the webinar, which is really good. So that's awesome. It works really well. The follow-up with recapture process, we have a follow-up process. I believe I talked more about it in the coming slides, but we do have, we'll provide you with your own follow-up scripts and give you best practice. We also have a bolt-on, which is not part of your pricing as a base pricing, but you can always get our follow-up team to do it for you. And I'm going to go through that a little bit more coming up here ahead. This stuff works. It's consistent. We do all your marketing for you. You do nothing. You show up the day of the show, game day. That's it. We market it. We gather all the registrants for you. We put them on a list for you. We bring in all your attendees. We funnel them to you. And you're going to get your registrants that didn't show. So there's 2 groups, non-attendees, obviously, just like Jeff has on this webinar, have 150 people register. You're probably going to get 75 people showing in one like we're doing right now. Ours, we're typically seeing somewhere, depending on the area, somewhere between 60 and 90 registrants. And we're finding it's pretty typical that 40 to 50% of the people will show. Now, on every one of these, we call everybody on reminders. It's part of your pricing. Okay. That's right there for you. And it works really, really well. We call people to remind them. We do it by text and phone call. Okay. You don't do that. We have you trained. You just show up, literally. We take care of the rest. And then you would follow up if you don't hire us to do your follow-up program. Okay. Pricing. It's my favorite part. Here's how I think we're a lot different than some other companies out there. Most companies are going to charge you per registrant. And that number varies, $79 to $100, $59, whatever. And they'll get you 80, 90, 100 registrants. But really, 2 things matter in my opinion. 1, the attendees, and 2, the consults. So anybody can get registrants. We get you highly qualified registrants, but more importantly, we push so that they attend. So now you're only going to pay for who shows. So what that means is there's no risk for you. The risk is really on Annuity GQ because it costs us, as you can imagine, to market your program. If in the unlikely event 10 people show up, you only pay for 10 people, $225 per attendee, not registered. Even though we give you name, phone number, and email address of every registrant as well. That's huge because you can still call them because let's face it, they've shown some type of intention of wanting to know more about your program. Maybe it snowed that day. Maybe they had to go get their grandkids. Maybe they forgot. Maybe they fell ill. Whatever the reason is, they didn't show up. You can still follow them up. They did have intention. They registered. Okay. Now, how do we bill major markets? 20 attendees up front. We bill that up front. If not all 20 show, for example, 18 show, we just refund you 2 seats, if you will, 225 times 2. We charge up to 30. And you go, Glenn, why do you do that? Because you're pretty happy campers when 36 people show up and I only charge you for 30. Now it's less than 225 a head if you do the math. So we have plenty of webinars that, like this weekend, we had 2 or 3 that were 37, 38, and I think 42 just this last weekend. So that advisor is super happy, obviously rebooking because he's, great value. Sometimes we'll get 21. In that case, you pay 20 up front. And then after the webinar, we simply bill you for the additional, whether that's 21 up to 30. Okay. Hopefully that was answered. Sometimes we get questions around that. Now, I said major markets. If you're in a really small market, I know I had a small market in Oregon where we're like, look, the chances of getting 20 in a very small market, then we just adjust it and might charge you up front 10 instead of 20 or 15 instead of 20. In major markets, we just charge you 20 up front because we know high percentage of the time we go north of 20. Okay. The call center, $9.99 for the call center for our appointment setting service. Our team is trained, highly trained to, we have a team that books those appointments for you. Simply call on your behalf. They've got scripts. If I was calling for Jeff, I'd be saying, hi, it's Glen Daman calling from Jeff Zwick's office. You just saw him on the webinar. Thank you so much for attending. Then I get into booking the appointment for Jeff, and we follow up. It's insanely robust in the fact that we call 3 times a day for 3 days, and then we continue another 3 days with texting, single calls, and email. We don't just call the attendees, we call the non-attendees as well and get appointments as well. You can't hire somebody with that type of intense focus for $999. If you're wondering if we sell this a lot, 85% of our webinars, we sell this program. That's how high it is. Only time we don't typically sell it is in really small markets where there isn't a big, attendee list or even a registrant list. And secondly, some of the bigger advisors out there, bigger organizations or offices, they have their own team that do this. So they'll do it on their own as well. But most people do pick it. It's by far our #1 seller for sure. Okay. Jeff, any comments so far, or I'm just going to have a sip of water. I don't know if Dave's still on the call. I can't see him. I closed my window of people.
Yeah, I wanted to go back to an experience that one of our agents, a young lady, recently had. She did her first webinar, I think 2 Saturdays ago, and she had 25 attendees on the webinar, and she booked 10 appointments right there from the webinar.
Yeah.
So it definitely does work from that standpoint. But in going back to what you said before, Glenn, what I'm hearing from the agents on a consistent basis is between about 5 to 7 that are booking appointments right then, right there using that Calendly link. So that's what we're hearing. Correct.
Awesome. Yeah. Dave has done a lot with it. Dave Alsop with us here at Annuity GQ. And Dave, what's your favorite line? You have no idea why people wouldn't. You were just saying this the other day on a call when I was with you.
I made a comment the other day that I don't know why anyone would want to take it on themselves, just from the sheer amount of time that we spend doing it versus what your time is spent better doing.
Right. Yeah. Signing up more business. Okay. Good one. Okay. What's the process in a real 500,000, 50,000 square foot? We invite the people, we educate them, engage them, earn the right to convert them into a first appointment, and then convert it, and boom. Okay, so it's pretty simple. Well, most important key that will improve your presentation immediately is, hey, you just got to be confident, enthusiastic in your presentation, and that's where you're going to find the success, right? It's quite simply like that's it. I want to know your stuff, right? Knowledge equals confidence, confidence equals enthusiasm, and that enthusiasm is truly what closes business. It's not, I always say webinars, people ask me all the time, listen, we've done over 4,000 webinars and seminars together. We've done over 3,400, I believe it is, seminars, physical. The rest is webinars. We did seminars first, and the reason seminars work so well is you can do a patent chat, right? You get to shake hands. Well, who knows with pandemic if we're going to be able to do that, but you could see people's eyes, that whole thing. The webinar now, the challenge is you got to bring across that excitement and that enthusiasm over a webcam, which isn't always the easiest thing. So we try to practice that, and that repetitiveness of over and over and over is what, and knowing your stuff, knowing those slides is really, really important. Okay. So I encourage you, the number for Unkefer is right on the bottom there, 1-800-523-5851, and get going so that we can get you, in the lineup or secure your city right now. Now, currently we're doing both annuity and Series 65. Now, if you're out there and you're doing other things as well, we'll listen. Again, as long as you're contracted, of course, with Unkefer and Associates, Jeff and his team, then we've done other stuff as well that, certain advisors want to pinpoint something or go after a certain sector. So we'll take those as one ofs, but these are tried and proven presentations on the screen right there. Unbelievable. We just picked Ford Stokes, who's a huge producer out in Georgia, and with a friend of Unkefer and over there, he's part of an IMO, and it's amazing. First appointment. What do you want to do on that first appointment? Just a couple of quick things. I know most of you know this, but remember, let's just seek to learn the client's goals and then incorporate the fact finder and start, building for your second appointment, which is present your portfolio analysis, present that financial plan, share how the application process works. You all do that. And then detail right then, what is it like to be, if Jeff's my advisor, he's now going to tell me, Glenn, this is what it's like to work with me. This is what I think is my competitive advantage over your options out there. And this is once you're onboarding the business, right? Going to give you some results. Jeff touched on some of them earlier. I'm going to give you a few here. These are all within the last 3 months. Here's an Atlanta one. As you can see, 51 registered, only 12 attended. We were not happy with that at all. But the good news is this was part of the appointment setting team. They had that. 12 attended. We booked them 9 appointments out of 12. I think that's pretty good. Then we got 3 more from the registrants. So it was 12 out of 12. This is actually Ford himself that did this one. Average net worth in the room was 700 grand. Okay. By the way, he got 8 credits toward his next webinar because he wanted to do another one because he paid for 20 up front, only 12 showed, right? But he closed over 1 million so far, and he's got another 7 million in his pipeline. This was done, Dave, you can correct me, but I believe he ran this in February. No, January. Yep.
Yeah,
so,
right at the end.
And if I call, this is a little outdated, then if I called him right now, I can tell you, I know how he closes. Some of that 7 million in the pipe, I'm sure he's got it closed now as well. So think of the ROI for him on this webinar. Another one, this is in Michigan. I know the guy well. 71 registered, 35 attended, kind of more normal stats for us. 18 appointments were booked immediately, and the average net worth was right there. And right now, when we made this slide, which was in December, actually, I believe this one, he did not take the booking program because he has his own team, just so you know. But look at the kind of numbers they're bringing in. So I said I'd take about half an hour. That's about 26 minutes. Now, Dave, is there any questions you wanted to answer from chat? And we will now, if you want to open your mic to ask a question, please feel free to do so.
Yes, the question I have right now is the length of the webinar. Is how long is the webinar run for?
Yeah, typically we tell everybody, you know what, it shouldn't be shorter than probably 45 minutes. If it's shorter than 45, you're probably speeding. Okay, so slow it down, but you can practice that obviously as well with our team. And it should never go longer than an hour. If it goes longer than an hour, you're going to find people jumping off.
Okay, and specialized equipment.
Okay, good question. Yeah, you really don't need specialized equipment. I highly suggest getting a mic like this one. It cost me, in Canada, it cost me like $60. It's called Blue. It's made by Snowball Ice. Cost me $60 in Canada. So if you're in Phoenix like Jeff, it's probably 30. Canada's more money for everything. So that's it. You got a laptop and a camera, or if you want to use an HD camera, I've got both. That's the only equipment you really need. I'm sure everybody on this call has a laptop with a camera in it.
Okay, that's all I have right now.
No more questions?
Welcome,
Okay.
Deborah.
Anybody want to open the mic for a question? There's got to be something. Wow, we really did a good job on this one, Jeff. No questions.
That's awesome. And if you guys think of questions after the fact, give our office a call. We can get those answered for you. We can get you connected with Dave or with Glenn to answer them even further. But yeah, give us a call if you think of questions afterwards. But as you can see, it's definitely a proven system. It's working. So yeah, get with us. If you're not contracted, let's get you hooked up with Unkefer and Associates. Let's get you on the books right away. Can you verify which 4 states? I know you said Salt Lake City, Utah was closed, but can you verify that right now? Or
Yep. I believe Dave's going to help me, but I think it's Arizona. But I think Arizona is like really close to reopening in certain areas.
That's what I heard.
Yep. Like within the next week or two. But Arizona, Utah,
Michigan
is closed. And there's also parts of Texas that are closed, right? Not all of Texas is closed, but there are parts that are closed. I can tell you right now, if you're from Houston and you're on this call, Houston just opened up on Monday, and it is crazy how much activity we're getting in Houston, like crazy.
I think we just had a question come in from Harold. Dave, can you see that?
Yeah. How hard would it be to market more than one seminar per month in the Phoenix area?
Okay. Not hard, because Phoenix has got a great population. Having said that, Phoenix is also probably second to Florida, the haven, Harold, great question, the haven for people with my color hair going down there to retire or around retirement. So it's also heavily marketed. So we want to make sure that we're being careful to get you the results you want. So I always use the analogy is I don't want to strip the wood too much and ruin it. So we're very careful based on our analytics. We're very careful on how many we'll put in there. But the easy answer is in the next 2 weeks, I believe it is, Dave maybe can confirm that, or within the next 30 days, I believe Phoenix is going to open up and you can jump in there, and that it should be good for 2 a month. And worst case scenario, something we never bring up on these presentations because it kind of gets too into it. But I will say this, we watch every week the registrations as they come in. If it's not at a pace that we want and you're signed up for, say, 2 webinars that month, we'll say, no, let's only do the one and let it sit a little longer. Doesn't cost you a dime more, of course. If anything, it only costs our company more because we just market a little more. So we keep an eye on it. So we can usually tell you on the fly if it's going to work or not. I hope that didn't go too deep, but that's the best explanation.
Is Tucson closed or only the greater Phoenix area?
Tucson, Dave, do you have the map in front of you? I believe it is closed still,
Yeah,
but I'm stand to be corrected on that because that, again, that's changes literally weekly. I typically look at it every Monday. I think it's closed. Dave, do you have that there?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It is closed? Okay.
Yeah.
But again, if you're from Arizona, as I believe his name was Harold, and others on this call, jump in, get in line. We don't even ask for a deposit. Dave, Calvin, the team, they'll just get your name in and it's next in line and they call you and you say, nah, I'm not ready. Then you get bumped to the back of the line.
So can you market, this actually comes from Chad, can you market for an agent in another state from their resident state?
Yes, as long as you're licensed. We have agents that live in, I have one right now. He lives in Michigan and he does Tennessee, he does Florida, and I can't remember where else, but Tennessee and Florida and Michigan. He's one of those. Yeah, he's licensed everywhere, it seems like.
Yeah. And then what typical closing rate do we close from prospects on after the first appointment?
Okay, well, that's going to be, so our job, I'll tell you exactly how I explain this to everyone. Great question, whoever asked that. Here's how it goes. Yeah. The first job is ours. Our job is to market the webinar so that you are set up for success. The second job of ours is to help you be ready and trained. And some people don't even need any help. A guy like Jeff is just going to jump on there and rock it, right? Where some people, I mean, he's a big Coyotes fan. All the hockey people get it now. But I'll tell you, some of you are going to get it right away and don't need much help from us from a training standpoint. So our job is to market it, get you ready for it. And then your job is to give an enthusiastic, valuable, informative presentation. That's your job, to deliver it. Exciting, all that fun stuff, high energy, all that fun stuff. Now, the next piece, the follow-up, that's either your job or if you're paying us, our job to get you those first appointments. Now, we close, here comes the answer to the question. We close usually somewhere between, our low last weekend, our lowest webinar we closed was 38%. So attendees to appointments, 38%. That was our lowest. Our highest was 71%. So I think if we blended the average, and we have an average number, I can pull it up, it's always somewhere between 45 and 48% is our blend typically. Now, we've had webinars where we've had 20 people and we've booked 23 appointments. Why? Because we got a lot of the non-attendees said, you know what, I still want to meet. I'm sorry I missed it. And boom, we'll send them a recording of the seminar, of the webinar, and then we'll book them and they'll get in the calendar. So we have those anomalies as well. So that's it. But after we book that first appointment, that's up to now it's up to the advisor. So if you ask me how many are closing, that completely is dependent on the advisor's skill level. We've got some that, well, Dave, you've got your guy in Michigan. He's closing at like, it's unbelievable, like 80% or something. But he's a crusher. I mean, this guy is unbelievable. We have a female here in Canada. We do this in Canada as well. She is unbelievable. She's on the on our eastern side of our country, and she's closing 70 to 75%. Then we have other ones where we get them the appointments and they're closing 10%. So that's now up to the personal advisor. So we don't take credit for the high ones and we don't take blame for the low ones.
Chad's is asking out the $9.99 is per webinar for the appointment service, the follow-up service. Yeah, that's correct. It's per webinar. Yes.
Okay, so now it's my time. I know Jeff's like, when's he going to tell him? When's he going to tell him?
I was going to ask you when you're going to do it.
Okay, just by fluke. This is truly by fluke. Jeff had booked this with us, I don't know, a few weeks ago or something. I don't remember exactly. And just on Monday, Dave and I came out with a a spring special. It started on Monday, but we're only running it till the end of the month. You have to book before the end of the month or put your name in for the end of the month with a deposit. And if you do that and you agree to commit to 3 webinars from now to the end of the year, not this month, not next month, the end of the year, 3 webinars, we're giving away 3 follow-ups, meaning $9.95. So it's a $3,000 value. Again, you have to book 3, right? And then, but they don't have to be in a row. And we're going to advise you what we think's the best, depending on your market. We're going to say, you know what, run one in April or run one in May, run one in June, and then don't run another one until September. Whatever, I'm making that up. It depends on your market. I'll tell you, if you're in Illinois right now, I think you could run one every week. It's unbelievable. The response we get in Illinois. It's incredible, actually. Well, Dave, you ran 2 in the same city, was a month ago or something, and I think your registrants were like 75 and 85, and you had like 40 people and 45 people attend.
It was huge.
And it was running the same month, 2 different advisors.
One of the other things that I think I really like about this program, and there's a lot of things I like about it, Glenn and Dave, is that doing the webinars on a Saturday morning, okay? You know, for a prospective client to take time out of their Saturday morning, whatever they like to do, that they must see value in what's being presented to them. Right. That they're going to take 45 minutes to an hour out of their morning ritual on a Saturday morning to jump on a Zoom call or whatever and listen to that advisor. So to me, that's the first step, is you're getting consumers that are actually interested in learning about what you guys marketed to them about. So I think that's great.
Yeah, that's an awesome point. And on the back end side of things, for going back to our call center, or even if you're doing it yourself, when we wind things up at 11:30, quarter to 12, when everything's done, it gives us or yourself the whole day to make that contact to that customer. So when we run them at night, we're respectful of people's evenings time, right? But at least Saturday we hit the phones hard. As soon as you say thank you, everyone, we're on the phones.
Yeah. And one thing I will mention too, because this has come up a couple times, Dave, you made me think of it when you talked about a Saturday. We do no follow-up, none on Sunday. So it's Saturday right now, because that's when the webinars are on. And then we pick up on Monday and go hard. So we go Saturday night till about 6 p.m. the local time. And then we take Sunday. And it's not because we don't work Sundays. It's not that at all. We had some a lot of kickback from people in certain areas, pretty much everywhere, but said, it's not real classy to call me on a Sunday. Like I don't talk business on Sundays. So we stopped doing it. It wasn't.
You have a tradition on Sundays, don't you, Glenn?
What's that?
You have a tradition on Sundays, don't you?
Well, if it's NFL, that's I'm sorry, I'm not available on Sundays. It's time to watch my Green Bay Packers.
That's like
That's like church at our house. Any other questions?
No, we're cleaned up here.
Great stuff. Great questions. Again, get that. That's $3,000 of value you're getting for nothing. So call that 1-800-523-5851. Get a hold of the marketers over at Unkefer and get through to us. I see another question just came in. We're here. We'll answer them. And let's get exciting about, it's time to get some business going. Kind of post-pandemic. We're still in the pandemic, depending on the area. Let's start putting some money in on your books, on your book of business.
Yeah. How does this work for annuities versus AUM?
It doesn't work any different. The presentation is different. That's really, I hope I'm answering that correct. It's just a different presentation deck, right? So we get the same type of results. And it's funny, it depends on the city again. Some I find Series 65 AUM's better. We don't know why that is. It's funny. Some cities seem to crush it more than others. But annuities work real well as well. Like, we do amazing annuity business across the states for our advisors. Yeah, both are attended very well. There's no difference, just a different presentation. That's all.
Awesome. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much on behalf of Unkefer and Associates, and for you that were on the call, look forward to hearing from you. Let's get some stuff going. And again, our number's 800-523-5851. Give us a call. We're ready for you.